Hi there, welcome to today's special Team Clueless Jubilee celebration game of 40k. You'll notice we have a massive 12-foot long board in my front room. Not really sure how it fitted, I live in a small one-bedroom flat, but it did. So we are having a special game today. There are 4 players. Each player is going to have 2,000 points and it's a 2-on-2. We have the evil Blood Angels there. There are some Eldar over there. And a massive horde of Orks. We'll go through the armies in a minute. I'm just going to go through the special rules of the mission. You'll see we've got the board all set up. One end is a bit woody, foresty. There's a nice road section. The defenders have a big castle. And there's a city section at the end. It's going to be an objective game. We're not actually using the Apocalypse rules because we're not quite at enough points, I don't feel. The objectives consist of a bastion hidden there amongst the Blood Angels. That counts as one of the objectives. There is a bastion at this end of the board. That counts as one of the objectives. Then the defending side, which is the Space Marines and Eldar, get a large castle. There are various special rules for the castle. You'll have seen us use them in one of our other battle reports. If you really want to know, just drop me a PM and I'll tell you what the rules are. Inside the castle there is a comms relay, which is from the planetstrike book, lets them re-roll reserve rolls if they wish, and that counts as 2 objectives, so that's the most important one. We will also then place 2 more objectives on the board once we finish setting up. Each side gets to place 1 and they have to be in the no man's land in the centre of the board. Okay, 2,000 points of Orks today. We have one big unit of 19 Orc boys. They've got a knob with power claw and a big shooter and a boss pole, and they'll be joined by a big mech inside this battle wagon with a death roller. Then we have 3 more squads of 12 Orc boys in trucks. Now, because the enemy, they get kind of like a bastion and stuff to defend, the Orcs have a special rule today that any units that have troops that are less than 150 points, when they die, they get to come back on the board again. Kind of like an endless wave of assaulting Orcs. So all 3 of those truck boy units can use that special rule today. There's me. I'm leading my old army on my bike. I don't have any of my boys with me today, so I'll have to run around crumping on my own. We have 6 mega knobs there. They're armed with 2 custom rockets, 2 custom scorchers, and they're in a battle wagon with a death roller. We have 2 squads of 3 Orc buggies. They're all armed with rockets. We have 3 big shooters, not big shooters, they're cannons, that's what I've taken today, and they've got a runt-herd leading them. We have 3 killer cans, all armed with Grotzukas, 1 Death Dread with double Scorcher, and I put it together at 1 o'clock this morning. It's a new Dakar jet. It's got an extra twin-link super shooter.
Right, here's the other half of the Orky army. The other guy sounded a bit too human-like for me.
Sorry, boss.
Right, we have a battle wagon here which has got Death Roller and Big Shooter on, and inside there'll be a big unit of Orc boys. There'll be 18 of them, and there'll be a knob with power claw, boss pole, and they have Gazzy in there. Hey. And then we got another battle wagon here, and that one, although it don't look like it, it does actually have a Death Roller on it and a Big Shooter. And there'll be 19 Orc boys in that one, and there'll be a knob with power claw and boss pole, and they have a big mech with custom force field. No one hurting us. Right, and then we have 2 trucks there, and in both those trucks there'll be 12 Orc boys, and they both have knob, power claw and boss pole and all. Lots of crumping today. Right, we also have 3 war buggies with twin-link rocket launchers, and one of them is just been made up. He'll be looking for his trophy today to stick on there. And then we have a unit of knob bikers. Right, they're all armed differently. You've got one which has got a power claw, you've got a big chopper, you've got a power claw and boss pole, you've got a nice pain boy, you've got a WOG banner, and then you've got one who's just a ghost rider. He's trying out some new camo unit. He's actually just a normal dude. Right, we got the unit of little putzers. There'll be 11 Gretchen back there with their runt-herd. And then there'll be 15 Storm boys here, and with them they have their nice big boss and all. And we also have a unit of 5 looters, so lots of shooty. Right.
And here are the boys who'll be taking down those filthy Orcs as they attack. They don't know what they're expecting, really, coming against the Blood Angels in all their fury. 2 tactical squads will be used to hold those bastions. giving us plenty of firepower to pawn down. An assault squad will be able to move in when they're needed. Although he looks like he's got a power fist, he actually hasn't. Just a chainsword, it's just been slightly modified. Of course, against the green tide, you need something to blow up lots of green things.
Jeez!
Well, it's all the way forward. And Stormfire Bile Predator's not exactly going to...
Storm Cannon.
Shush you. A Storm Raven will be transferring this unit of Assault Terminators with their Sanguinary Beast right into the heart of the enemy where they can do most damage. Whereas this unit of Terminators here will be doing the firepower when required in this Land Raider. Led by this lovely epistolary in Terminator Armour and Storm Shield, who will be guiding the entire battle force as they destroy lots and lots of Orks.
Okay, here's the Eldar force, which has decided to lend its assistance to the Blood Angels today. They are led by the Avatar of Cain and Eldrad Ulthran. Eldrad is really looking forward to not having to deal with Blood Angels' psychic hoods this game, as he may actually get to cast a psychic power. They have some elite units with them. They have 2 units of Fire Dragons. Each unit is 5 strong, led by an Exarch with a fire pike, and crack shot and tank hunter powers. And Eldrad is joined by a unit of 10 striking scorpions, which is also led by an Exarch who has a power claw. We have some troops options, of course. We've got a unit of 5 fire Dire Avengers. Hopefully you won't be seeing them on the table today. They're planning on lurking in a Falcon all game. 2 units of 10 Guardians. Each Guardian squad has brought a scatter laser. And 2 units of 3 Guardian jet bikes. Each unit has a shuriken cannon. For fast attack, we have bought 2 units of 6 warp spiders. Each unit is led by an Exarch with double death spinners. And then for heavy support, we have the Falcon I mentioned earlier. It's loaded out with a scatter laser and a shuriken cannon, and it's got holofields and spirit stones to make sure it gets where it needs to go with those Dire Avengers on board. And then, because we're expecting quite a lot of Orks, we've brought along 2 fire prisms capable of dropping big templates everywhere.
Okay, you can see here a nice long length of the table. I'm going to go through the setup zones. So, the Orks have set up over here. It's a nice table. We've got down here 2 squads of the buggies. Then we set up a load of knobs bikers, some looters behind them. We've got a truck full of boys. We've got another truck full of boys and 2 battle wagons there. Then moving down to the other end of the table, we have left the centre of the board reasonably absent for now, as we'll get to in a minute. The Eldar have got quite a lot of firepower in the centre of their board. Getting down to this end, we have another truck, another couple of battle wagons, some more buggies. We have a nice wall of walkers. We have another truck, and Dagreen Torpedo there, the Ork boss on bike. Now, on the other side of the board, the Blood Angels and the Librarian have camped out in this bastion. Standing out in the open, hopefully ready to die turn 1, is one of the Wave Serpents. It's not a Wave Serpent, what is it? It's a Fire Prism. And then the Eldar have camped a lot of stuff behind the castle walls. So we have some Fire Dragons. You can see sneaking behind the castle there. There's some Warp Spiders and some Jet Bikes. They're going to do some of that jump, shoot, jump shenanigans, no doubt. There is a Hollowfieldy Falcon, the God Falcon as he likes to call it. Guardians have set up around the objective in the castle and on this front castle wall. And you'll notice, cowering right behind, if I go up, there's the Avatar, like the coward that he is.
He thinks he's Mephisto.
He does. Now, down this end, we have another double set of jump, shoot, jump annoying gits. And we have a Whirlwind hiding behind the walls. That's going to be some pain today, I'm guessing. And then here we have another Fire Prism. Some more Blood Angels who are in their bastion. And we have a Land Raider. I'll get to the template in a moment. In reserve, the Blood Angels have placed...
The Storm Raven and the Assault Marines, and there's the Bile Predator in outflank.
Nice. You'll notice we have an X-Wing pilot with us today. I'm quite scared. The Ork forces have reserved their Gretchen and their fighter jet thing.
And the Storm Boys.
And the Storm Boys, lest I forget. Now, as the evil humans and their Eldar allies get the bastions and stuff, there is one other special rule that we get. As the Orks, we are firing 2 special shock attack gun templates, similar to a flamestorm type barrage thing on the first turn. So they are a large blast that is resolved as a shock attack gun attack, and afterwards it counts as a custom force field when you go close to it. So the first one is resolved here on this Land Raider. Let's see what we get, Nick. Come on, blow it up. Oh dear, we're going 4 inches that way. I don't think that's going to get a whole lot. So that's really unable to hurt a Land Raider, so it does nothing. So the other one we are placing on top of the Avatar and Eldrad, and we're hoping the shock attack gun is going to blow them both up.
Roll down here.
It's going that way 3 inches, but it's only a strength 3. That's unfortunately no special results that we were hoping for.
Like that. So you've
Not
got
a whole lot.
3 striking scorpions, a guardian, and Eldred, I think.
Well, we'll see what that does, but we won't do that on camera.
Can we video that?
Right, Orky turn 1. Our shooting went as well as Orky shooting normally does go. These buggies here moved around the side here. They had a quick pop shots at the Land Raider. They did nothing. The bikes, they came running round here to come out behind those buggies. These war buggies, they shot the Land Raider too. They hit, but he got a save from a custom force field. Damn, that's annoying.
That's annoying, boss.
Yeah.
These idea was shooting it there.
These looters, they had a shot of that thing over there, and they managed to stop it from shooting, which was not bad, but it could have been better. All this lot, that just all moved up, ready to go crump some castle walls and get in there. This lot was all blank. Right. These big cannons, they had a shot of that one over there, and they did nothing to it. And then these buggies, they shot it, and they stopped that one from shooting this next turn.
All the fields, boss.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them tanks to shoot at.
Oh, and then everything else, they all moved up round here. The Death Dread had to start shimmy into there because it's a bit big, and everything else come round here. That's all moving up, and now nice big the green torpedo. He's moved up there, ready to take that out.
Crump it next turn, boss.
Yeah, lots of crumping.
Blood Angel and Eldar turn 1. The Land Raider moved up and disgorged Terminators into the forest, who then made straight for the Nobs Bikers. I don't want to reveal what happened later in the turn, but you can see there aren't any Nobs Bikers and not very many Terminators there. The tactical squad stayed tight in the bunker, as did the Fire Dragons. These jet bikes and warp spiders leapt over the parapets to take some shots at these vehicles. The Avatar stormed through the gates, shouting a challenge. There's nobody to respond to the challenge. One of the inoperable fire prisms darted back over the wall for safety. The other fire prism thought rather foolishly that he would attempt to try and ram some of these vehicles, but unfortunately the forest was too thick and he couldn't ram his way through it, and he has managed to immobilise himself, which is a bit of a blow. Over here we had more Warp Spider Guardian jet bike jumping shenanigans, and these guys are sat tight in their bunker. The shooting phase, well, the heavy bolters actually were the heroes of this round. Automated servo skull operated heavy bolters managed to weapon destroy and immobilise that. Took a weapon off of this one, shot a boy, and over here we managed to fire 3 heavy bolters, and we destroyed a buggy and made another buggy unable to shoot next turn, which is not bad when you've only got ballistic skill 2. Well shot. We took some missile launcher shots here, but didn't achieve anything. The last cannon from this Land Raider also didn't manage to achieve anything. Very disappointing, the Exarch shot his fire pike, piercing straight through the custom force field, but failing to penetrate the armour of the battle wagon with a double 1 on the armour penetration roll. And it was the same story over this side. The fire pike couldn't manage to penetrate even the side armour of this battle wagon. So that was a bit disappointing. Other shooting managed to take out a truck that was here. It careered out of control, and these boys have been deposited near the walls. They took some heavy fire from the Guardians. And over here we destroyed a truck as well, which careered in the direction of this bastion, and those boys have been deposited there. Unfortunately the whirlwind missed when trying to take them out. In the assault phase, all the Eldar managed to dive back behind the walls for safety, only losing 1 warp spider to the warp in the process. And over here as I foreshadowed earlier, the Terminators fought a mighty battle with Nob's bikers, from which only one Terminator managed to escape unscathed. He's making his way back to the Land Raider at the end of turn 1.
Right, Orc turn 2. I've remembered my accent this time. So, first things first, these Orc boys, they ran from over there, and they did one of those multi-smulti assault thingies, and they attempted to crump a Land Raider and a Termi. So they sent some boys up against the Termi, and they managed to kill him. The Land Raider, well, unfortunately we couldn't hurt that. It's kind of like an extra bunker really, isn't it? Over here, we didn't really do anything to this big bunker. We'll leave that till later. We shot Ds and Ds at the Land Raider trying to mobilise it, make it easier to hit. Didn't really work. Over here though, the lads got out and they just leapt all over this Eldar tank, pulling all the bits off. It's now just a wreck on the floor. The two battle wagons, well, they got their massive death rollers out and decided they'll squish one of these puny human walls. They bounced off it. Not so clever. The truck came over here and took pot shots at the Avatar. Here's the Avatar. He's surrounded. Here, Gazzy's going to crump him. Well, he didn't do that well, unfortunately. One wound to the Avatar, he did 2 back. So, fearless check, but not a problem. We also shot at the Avatar with these lads up here and the Dakar jet. Unfortunately, we only managed to do 1 wound of our shooting. It gets better as we go over here though. You notice this hollow tanky thingamy? It's missing 2 of its big guns. Courtesy of these lads. Pretty good shots. Over here, this battle wagon showed what you're supposed to do. It death rollered the wall. 5 strength 10 hits. Couldn't stand up to it. Then the fire dragons fell in the rubble and the Meganobs leapt out and squished them all. So, they've got a nice opening into the building now. Surviving Orcs around the edge, they just moved up, ready to scale the wall. And the Death Dread, he kind of like clumbered forward as well, hoping to get to see some combat. Over here, the immobilised truck obviously can't move, so its lads got out and assaulted that bunker that was there. As did the Green Torpedo. The Green Torpedo whacked it and penetrated it 5 times, which is pretty special. It blew up. Now this building is the one that killed loads of stuff heavy bolters. We is thinking it is cursed, because it blew up, killed 4 Space Marines, killed 7 Orcs. It was pretty deadly all the time. These things, well, they're just kind of like slowly going forwards again, cursing the truck driver for getting his vehicle stuck. That's about it.
Eldar and Space Marine turn 2. It's getting interesting. Over here, the Land Raider turned to fire shots into these buggies, but only managed to stun 2, sadly. Combined fire from the bolters here, and this Assault Marine squad that deep struck in with Descent of Angels has really badly hurt this Orc Boys squad, but hasn't finished them off or pushed them off the table yet. However, the Whirlwind fired at the looters that used to be there, killing 4, they broke and run. Otherwise, this area is fairly contested still, although there are no Orc troops here really that have got much chance of getting there at the moment. The Fire Dragons, not Fire Warriors, they're not Tau, blew up one of the battle wagons that's been assaulting this wall, spilling the big mech out. He's still perfectly happy though. Warp spiders, jet bikes and various other things, including scatter lasers from here for example, fired at this truck, but it made every single cover save imaginable and then some that were quite unimaginable and took nothing whatsoever. Over here, the big mechs are still advancing. Various troops from down here shot at it and then jumped back to their current positions. The Falcon, down to only its shuriken cannon, managed to wipe out the bomber. The Dakar thing.
Dakar jet.
Dakar jet. I wanted to call it a Dakar Fex, but it's not. Down here, though, the combat got more interesting. The people attacking the Avatar then got charged by the striking Scorpions, who have wiped them all out, bar Gazgul just alone. The Avatar is down 3 wounds, though, and Gazgul's only down 1, so he's still not dead, but he is in trouble. This fire prism shot into the side of the battle wagon, but it deviated with the tight beam and missed. Didn't do anything. These Orc boys are still hugging a wall, as you do. The Storm Raven came in over here, disgorged the Assault Marines, which are down this way, and as you notice, the Green Torpedo is no more. The Lightning Claws put short work onto him. The Storm Raven, meanwhile, shot and blew up the truck which these boys used to be in, and the assault terminators have consolidated in next to them to get ready to launch them next turn. It also fired its multi-melter and 4 bloodstrike missiles at the cans, doing beggar all. So it's a bit of a variable turn, but overall could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Right, this be Yorkie turn 3. What was looking quite bad at the start of the turn ain't looking too bad now. These boys here, we managed to crump a Land Raider, managed to interact that. Those buggies there, they had a shot of those assault marines, didn't really do much. These Ork boys here, they tried to assault this bastion, but we couldn't quite get the power claw in there, so nothing happened there. Right, this thing, it started grinding at the wall with its death roller, but just couldn't make a hole. So this truck come around here, spilt its boys out, they jumped up the wall, they went down there and crumped some Eldar bikes and a whirlwind. Right, moving along here, unfortunately Gazzy got killed by the Avatar, which weren't a very good thing. We tried to death roller this thing, that didn't work. These buggies, they had a shot of that one, they did nothing as well. Not looking too good there. But here...
Took the weapon off, boss.
Oh, we took the weapon off, that's it, it's got no weapons now. Those boys sat there, couldn't roll for movement. That battle wagon there, all its boys shot at these Terminators here and killed 3 of them. That, the Death Dread there, didn't move very well first of all, but it ran quite far, and that's going to come over here to help. Those boys over there, that power claw went in and it's immobilised the Storm Raven. The killer cans here, they shot at those the Space Marines there. They killed a few, but they're still there, unfortunately, holding that objective. And this turn, the Gretchen come on. Unfortunately, the Storm Boys still haven't.
Eldar and Blood Angels turn 3. Over on this side of the board, these Orks are carrying down behind this Land Raider over here which they destroyed last turn. The mighty heavy bolters on the bastions unleashed another dreadful volley of fire which stunned one buggy and knocked the rocket launcher off the other. Pretty fantastic. The rockets, the missile launcher from the tactical squad stunned one of these buggies over here. The assault squad moved up, flamed, and then charged and destroyed the boys mob that was trying to take down the bastion. Up on the walls, the fire dragons knocked out the other battle wagon. The big mech now only has a truck to run into. We had warp spiders and guardians taking shots at this boys mob, which we've whittled down to 3 members and a knob. They nearly ran, but then the knob managed to keep them in line with his boss pole. Over here we had warp spiders, the Avatar, another Guardian squad, and a few shuriken pistol shots from striking scorpions shooting at these meganobs. The meganobs lost 3 of the members and are fleeing. Luckily, we cleverly managed to move the fire prism into position to stop them from attempting to rally next turn. Over here, the Falcon is now jetting across, going flat out. To get, it's got no weapons on it, but it's still got 5 Dire Avengers on board, so they're heading out over here. The Bale Predator came out over here, promptly destroyed all the Gretchens, leaving the objective open, but those Gretchens will be back next turn. Things didn't go so well over here. The Storm Raven failed to damage the Death Dread, and then got destroyed by the remaining Orks. Oh, it did manage to kill 3 of the Orks and wound the knob, but then the knob clawed it to death. Over here we shot our tactical squad and charged our assault terminators into the killer cans. We managed to stun one, as you can see, but other than that the assault terminators were wiped out, which was not looking so good. So overall, Space Marines and Eldar are enjoying this side of the table, but aren't enjoying this side of the table.
Right, it's Ork turn 4. Okay, what happened is, well, this squad here, they weren't certain they can make that run to the bastion to crump it, you know, with our claw. So we inched forward behind the Land Raider that we wrecked last turn, yeah, and we're hopefully going to get the charge in next turn. Over here, Boss Agstruck arrived, landing with pinpoint precision, you know, like Orks is. and then charged in. Unfortunately, they failed to beat up the Space Marines, lost by a couple, and lost another wound because of his kind of like headbangy rule thingy. These things, they shot up them Space Marines before combat, but did diddly. As did this thing here, or you'll notice the big mech is not really very much of a lucky charm. He's in his third vehicle of the game. But the fire dragons, which have been killing all the other vehicles he ever got into, they's engaged in combat. 3 of their number got crumped by the Orkies. Over here, we had our little buggies. They came up behind this falcony thingamy and shot it in the back, but couldn't hurt it. And then all the big guns in this tower, they shot down at that and, well, couldn't hurt it. And then the guns on the battle wagon, they shot that and couldn't hurt it. And over here, quiet please, over here we attempted to death roller a couple of walls to get to this, to kill it, so that it wouldn't stop these guys running off. But unfortunately, we couldn't hurt the walls. So then we charged in with our Death Dread at a wall and tried to claw it to death, but we still couldn't hurt the walls. Bit of an issue. Over here, the Killer Cans managed to get their roll in and they're engaged in combat with these Space Marines. All they's got is crack grenades, so they're not going to find much luck hurting us. They managed to blow off one of our arms, but we killed a couple of them. These 3 lads here, they're ready to jump on that objective and score it. Over here, the Gretchen, using the rule that lets little troop choices come back onto the table, they came back on the table this turn and assaulted the back of this here flamey tanky thing. But unfortunately, they didn't manage to hurt it, so they're probably going to get flamed again this turn, and then they'll come on again next turn and try the same thing.
Blood Angel and Eldar turn 4. Over on this side of the board, the Tactical Marines stayed put. They managed to blow away one of those buggies, which was quite nice. We've still got Orks cowering behind here, ready, trying to time their dash for that objective, no doubt, the cowards. Over here, the battle ranges between the Storm Boys and the Assault Marines. The Assault Marines managed to kill 3 more Storm Boys, didn't take any casualties, but that combat's going long. Up on the walls, the Boys mob of 2 managed to finish off the Fire Dragons and have gone back out onto the battlements. Warp Spiders leapt into turrets for their own protection, and the rest of the Elder War host is gathered round the communications array, which is a double scoring objective. Up on the balcony, the scatter laser was guided and managed to shake a buggy. Moving further round, the fire prism isn't actually shaken for the first time this game. It hopped over the wall and attempted to take out the boys mob which was threatening to take this objective. They all died except for the knob to the prism. He failed his leadership check, so he's running. In the battle here, the 3 Killer Cans have marched on. They've killed the Apothecary and the Librarian. We've got one lone brave missile launcher wielding nutter who's trying to hold this objective. I don't think he's going to make it, but God bless him for trying. The Falcon continued its 3-turn charge across the board. The Eldar are not used to spending 3 turns moving anywhere, but this is quite an epic board. They're nearly at their final destination. And over here the Flamestorm wiped out the Gretchen squad again, but they're going to have to kill it one more time. Oh, sorry. Other excitement this turn, the Warp Spider Exarch, leaning out through the arrow slit, fired down on this battle wagon and immobilised it. Great shooting. Okay, moving into Ork turn 5.
Right, it's Orky turn 5. Could have been our last turn, we won't know till them other things about there goes. So these boys over here, they made a break for this objective. They done a nice little conga line, making in cover. And these little buggies, they've run over to try and stop anyone assaulting out of this big edifice. How do you say it? Edifice. Big grey edifice. These things tried to make their way over to do the same trick. They'll be there next turn if we get one. This truck careened over this way and the big mech jumped out and joined Zagruk's squad in combat. Then they had a big fight and the Blood Angels killed all but the big mech and Zagstruck. And then Zagstruck executed the big mech, so he'd stay there. Awesome.
So he's now King of the Orks.
He is now King of the Orks. Over here, these 2 boys, wanting to die so they can come back on the board using the Horde Spin special rule we're using, are charging over here, hoping to force the Eldar to kill them. We'll have to wait and see. Over here, this poor thing sat there immobilised going, there's nothing I can do. These things failed their rally check and are still sprinting off the board. We did the thankless task that is shooting at a God Falcon. So we fired 3 rockets here, and 3 big guns up here and did squat all. Over here, the killer cans, they squished that last Space Marine, and the big battle wagon and the other squad of little orcs at the back there, they all came over this way to try and get this objective, but we need another turn to get there. We couldn't quite run fast enough. The Gretchen, which are over here, decided to go for Plan B, as Plan A, which is attack the back of the Predator with their pistols, wasn't working. So this time we've gone a special anti-flamer formation. We're kind of like in a big circle, hoping they won't kill enough of us to force a leadership check so we can claim this objective. Unfortunately, that their Eldar floaty thing has got some of those dire thingy-me's in it, so that'll probably stop us.
Eldar and Space Marine turn 5. Over here, things are still looking a bit ropier down this end of the board. This end. We fired rockets and bolter fire at these orcs, but only managed to kill 1, not forcing a leadership check to make them run away. These buggies are still imposing themselves between all the Space Marines and them. One of these buggies did die, though, to the awesome heavy bolters of this bastion, which may possibly be MVP for the game. We didn't even buy it. The Storm Boys are finally no more, and the Assault Marines consolidated over here, ready to make a last-ditch charge for that if the game continues. We'll roll that on camera in a moment. A Mind War saw the end of the knob for this unit, but unfortunately the Orc, surprise, made his leadership check and is still in the frame. Although he's probably not going to have the best day. He might be trying to kill the Avatar. I don't rate his chances. Otherwise, the rest of this remains fairly as was. That has now been destroyed by the Death Dread, but it's probably not going to change the field of battle too much. Over here, everything is making its beeline over to that side as possible, and the Gretchens this turn, due to their interesting military formation, have managed to survive. Jealous. Whilst they're horribly wounded, and one of them's blatantly out of coherency until their turn, but yeah, what can you do? They have survived so far, but let's wait to see if they make it. And now we shall see if the game ends.
So if the game ends, the Space Marines and Eldar have 4 points, and the Orcs have 1 point.
It ends on a 1 or a
2.
No!
Victory for Eldar and Space Marines.
Okay, so the game is over and the poor Orcs have lost. We're just going to talk about a few of the turning points we felt in the game. I personally think the biggest part, the biggest bad roll came actually on the Space Marine and Eldar's first turn, where they came over here and they killed the Knob Bikers with their Terminators. That really left us weak on this flank.
Yeah, the Knob Bikers were really important because they could have easily taken out that bastion.
Yeah, that was they were our plan for that bastion, while the rest of the stuff on this side of the table over here was aiming to go for the big castle. Yes. But when they lost, we had to split our forces a little bit, and it became a bit of a problem. On the other side of the board, I mean, speaking for the Orcs, we got just a bit held up. I mean, it's a bit denser terrain over here, and our killer cans took about 4 turns to get to the bastion, which was a bit of an issue. But the other stuff did quite good. I mean, killing that Storm Raven was really useful because it's a powerful model, really good versus Orcs.
The Storm Raven and the Assault Terminators are both pretty disappointing.
Well, the Assault Terminators did one really glorious moment, and they just failed.
Yeah, they came in and butchered the war boss, didn't they?
Just died into it. The saves to that shooting were just atrocious, and that really weakened.
I mean, the castle walls were also one of the problems with Orcs. Our battle wagons, we thought Death Rollers, Strength 10, they can deal with walls, but they didn't.
By points, they should have been through them, but they had.
I think maybe they shouldn't have -1 on the vehicle damage table. I think that might be
possibly. It's just because you want the castle to stay there because it makes it look nice and such.
It shouldn't really be stronger than a bastion, should it?
Special rock. I think all the Eldar units in the centre of the board are really good at holding the objectives. The jump, shoot, jump over the walls, and the Guardians and big squads just lining the walls with the Avatar giving them fearless just makes them really hard to manoeuvre.
Yeah, and the Avatar coming out to defend against the Ghazghkull's attack was...
Yeah, him killing Ghazghkull was good.
It was a good turning point as well, because it really blunted the attack on that door.
Fortunate Avatar, I'll put him up against pretty much anything, really.
Yeah, there's not much that can kill the Fortunate Avatar.
I think one of the bad points, though, was the rule for the Orcs where they were running. I mean, the fact that it took 4 turns for Orcs to run.
Yeah, I mean, that was partly our bad running rolls, but also, I mean, that was one of the rules to compensate for the other side having kind of like a fortress start with. So it may need looking at just to make it a bit more likely to happen, because the only unit that actually came back on was the Gretchen, and none of the 5 or 6 Orc units that could have come back on came back on.
Yeah.
But I think overall the mission seemed fairly balanced. I mean, it was certainly middle of the game it was touch and go. By by turn 4 or 5 we were lacking in units in good positions on the board.
Yeah.
But I think that's because you had concentrated and taken out our trucks, and you hadn't killed our units so we could get them back. So that was just good play.
Yeah, we were quite happy to have little units of 1 and 2 guys.
Yeah, that poor orc behind the wall, for example.
Yeah, him there, not good. If he'd have died, we'd have got 12 orcs back on, and they could have come on and taken our objective over here, but unfortunately not.
The Falcon taxi service.
Yeah, this Falcon, the amount of shots we poured into this Falcon during the game was unbelievable.
It's got nothing on it now.
Yeah, it's got no weapons left.
A rocket with a siege.
But every turn it moves. So, what do you think your kind of like best unit for your side was? You can't choose a bastion.
Okay, well, other than the bastion.
Well, for me, it's definitely going to be my assault marines. They did a glorious job, deep striking in, killing 2 units, and if the game had continued, they were going to make a good play for that objective.
That's it, and they've only lost 1 of their number, haven't they? So they're still rocking.
Everything else.
Yeah, 1 more turn, they'd have probably killed all these orcs over here.
But from the Space Marine point of view, I'm definitely doing honourable mention for the bastions and the survey control heavy bolters. They were legendary today.
What about the Eldar? What do you reckon was your best unit?
Well, the Eldar, there wasn't any sort of single standout unit.
No,
the Falcon did a great job of drawing.
Yeah.
I'd say probably that Falcons because it survived so much.
But Eldrad and the Avatar and the Scorpions and the Guardians even. All
They kind of like worked in concert in the middle, didn't they? They all worked well together.
The Spiders did a really good, but none of them really stood out particularly as being much better than the others.
It was a good plan on your half, I thought, keeping all the Eldar in there. They get a bit of protection, and then Space Marines absorb a lot of fire, but they can take a lot more of it on the outside of the board.
Yeah, that was generally the split we'd gone for, so it worked nicely.
What about you, Nick? What was your best unit, do you reckon?
I think for the Orks, it was definitely this unit of Orks, I think, because when they eventually come out, they finished off the Terminators, the 1 Terminator that was left after so picked off the Land Raider and managed to come around to really hold the objective.
They're the only one of our unit that held an objective, so they've got to have it really, haven't they?
I mean, the other one which I was thinking of was the Big Mech, because he did protect the vehicles for a very, very long time.
Yeah, he did a really good job. We made a lot of saves there.
Yeah. 6 saves in 1 turn.
Unfortunately, one of your knobs did crump him though, so he loses 2 lost points for that.
And he did lose 2 vehicles in the end and got into the 3rd.
Yeah, he was a bad luck charm. I think for my...
Dragon Exiles were really important in this game, being able to shoot 3 custom
shells. They kept on blowing our Big Mech's vehicles up.
We destroyed 3 battle wagons and the Fire Dragons took out 2 of them, so that's pretty good.
I think for my half of the Orc army, possibly the Mega Knobs, they were doing really well. They managed to kind of break through the wall and get in there, and they killed a couple of units, but failing their leadership. I mean, leadership 7, no boss pole is a bit of an issue. And then they left. Other than that, the Killer Cans did quite good. I mean, they managed to kill a lot of Space Marines, and they killed the Assault Terminators, so they were probably my choice. Overall, though, guys, I think that was a really good game, and I think we celebrated the Queen's Jubilee in style.
Dedicate this game to Her Majesty.
Yes, you did. And
next time we'll invite her along as well.
The Queen plays Orcs.
Yeah, I think she probably does.
She likes a bit of crumping.
That's it. Cheers, guys. Good game.